This is CBN NewsWatch.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ephraim Graham. President Donald Trump will meet with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un in just a matter of weeks. The two men will shake hands on neutral grounds as the president tries to get him to agree to give up his nuclear weapons. But human rights advocates say the president should push for even more. Here's Jennifer Wishon.
Around the world, major international news. President Trump will meet North Korean leader Kim Jong-un June 12th in Singapore. The island nation offers neutral ground. Both the U.S. and North Korea have embassies there. The president announced the date after Kim removed a major barrier, releasing 3 Americans who were sentenced to hard labor on bogus charges. Family members of prisoner Tony Kim saying they thank God for his safe return.
It's heartbreaking to think of it. In fact, the Secretary of State told me that when the plane refueled in Anchorage, one of the detainees asked to go outside the plane because he hadn't seen daylight in a very long time.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo brought the prisoners home after his second meeting with Kim. The former CIA director is a Christian who attends weekly Bible studies with his fellow cabinet secretaries. And God's using him to influence world events. Neither the president nor congressional leaders expected Kim to release the Americans.
It was a good faith gesture. I don't think we were sure that we were going to get these prisoners in the first place. So I think we should clearly give the president some leeway on preparing for this summit.
We are rocking. We are rocking.
A campaign rally in Indiana Thursday gave the president a chance to celebrate.
Do you remember everybody in the fake news where they were saying, he's going to get us into a nuclear war?
North Korea consistently tops the list of countries where Christians suffer the most. And building off the Trump administration's momentum, human rights group Open Doors USA is pushing for the president to call attention to the 50,000 Christians who've been detained in labor camps and the release of all political dissidents. Trump says his proudest achievement will be when America denuclearizes the Korean peninsula, and he's already advertising for a second term.
Our new slogan for 2020, you know what it is? Keep America great.
Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Washington.
Here now is a look at some of the other headlines we are following for you right now inside the CBN newsroom. A serious military confrontation is brewing between Israel and Iran. Israeli forces launched 60 missiles against Iranian military installations in Syria. This came after Iran fired 20 rockets on Israel troops in the Golan Heights. This is the biggest Israeli attack inside Syria since 1974. A number of people in the U.S. are being directly impacted by rising prescription drug costs, and President Trump is stepping up to do something about it. Today, he is expected to deliver a speech and a plan to lower drug prices. Officials say the plan would slash federal rules and create incentives for lower prices. President Trump's plan is being opposed, though, by the pharmaceutical industry. One person is suspected to have died in the latest Ebola outbreak. So far, there are 11 cases of the disease in the Democratic Republic of Congo, but only 2 are confirmed. 3 health professionals are among those suspected of being infected. This is the 9th cycle of Ebola recorded in the DRC. You can find more on these stories and others throughout the day at cbnnews.com. No one should live in fear because of their religious beliefs, yet the persecution of Christians takes place worldwide. CBN's national security correspondent Eric Gonzalez shows us a plan to bring this often violent practice to an end.
Living here in the United States, it's easy to forget about religious persecution, which is taking place elsewhere around the world. A policy hearing took place here on Capitol Hill to highlight the importance of this issue.
In Mexico, during the past 6 years, more than 25 priests have been murdered. In the past couple of weeks, at least 3 murders have taken place. I've heard 4 now.
During this Capitol Hill hearing, religious leaders shared stories of persecution from China, North Korea, and Saudi Arabia.
Distributing Bibles in Saudi Arabia is illegal. Priests must go underground undercover as cooks or mechanics. The fanatical intolerance of everything Christian extends to a crackdown on red roses on Valentine's Day.
We've got a global Cold War in religion, in a lot of places, hot war in some places, going on now.
U.S. Ambassador at Large Sam Brownback said religious persecution is a growing crisis, but he is working to stop it. He told CBN News he is talking directly with government leaders to fight persecution of Christians.
Just this week, I've had conversations with one of our ambassadors in another country that wants to do a lot more on religious freedom. They're ready to really go forward. They've been a very bad actor for a long period of time. And I believe their primary reason is they want to grow their economy.
He says foreign countries realize in order to keep and attract a good workforce, you cannot have a narrow view. Ambassador Brownback adds that religious freedom leads to less terrorism. Ambassador Brownback says that this Trump administration strongly believes in religious freedom. And he says that this Trump administration will continue to name and shame those countries who commit religious persecution. Eric Rosales, CBN News, Washington.
Gospel singer Donnie McClurkin is asking for prayers after doctors say his throat cancer may be returning. McClurkin posted the news on his social media accounts, admitting that when doctors first told him the news, he cried, but the singer said he quickly gathered himself and began calling on the name of Jesus. McClurkin had surgery for the same illness 3 years ago. He is asking for all believers to fall on their knees and pray. Coming up, the little girl has no hands, but she is the winner of the National Handwriting Contest. We're going to show you her amazing story. Anaya Ellick is a child with no hands, but for the second time, she has won a National Handwriting Contest. Take a look at why her principal describes her as an inspiration.
Is 12, right? Anaya Ellick doesn't let anything stop her from doing the things she enjoys.
I just like writing in cursive. And if I'm sad and I draw, it makes me feel happy.
Born without hands, the third grader from Greenbrier Christian Academy uses her forearms to write. At a year old, her grandmother taught her to steady the pencil between her two wrists. Her mother says the family decided against the use of prostheses.
And they actually started to hinder her rather than help her. She didn't want them anymore. She had already started learning how to do different things without them. She learned to write and draw without them.
In a time with mainly computer keyboards and no emphasis on writing or spelling, teachers at the school say teaching students cursive writing is a vital part of their development.
Research has shown that the part of the brain that does writing is closely related to children learning to read and to spell. In doing cursive writing, they learn to look at the word as a whole. And so that is very important for their fluidity in reading and for them to be able to write words as a whole.
School officials recently entered Anaya in a national cursive writing competition. Anaya's work went under a category for students with cognitive delays, intellectual, physical, or developmental disabilities, which was judged by a team of occupational therapists. Facing stiff competition and strict guidelines, the little girl with no hands came out on top. Teachers and contest organizers are absolutely amazed at the quality of Anaya's work.
The people that judge the contest do it on the keys of legibility, which is the size, the shape, the slant, and the spacing of the letters, so they don't all scrunch in together. And when you look at her handwriting, it's just absolutely beautiful. To think that she can do that without any hands is very impressive.
She won for manuscript when she was in first grade, so we were excited to be able to enter her again now for her cursive handwriting, and just to see that it's continued. And it's beautiful. I mean, it really is some of the best handwriting in her class.
Others, including family members, are also impressed.
It's amazing to watch, and it's also motivating too. Like when I hit spaces, you know, I'm like, oh, this is impossible. I can't do this. And it's like, I've never heard her say, because I don't have, I can't.
The biggest thing that Anaya has taught our class is that there's no excuses. Anaya has learned that at an early age because of the struggle she has had and the obstacles. She's learned, I can't do this yet, but I can figure out a way to do it, or to come very close to doing it.
And how does Anaya feel about taking home an even bigger trophy this year?
Proud.
Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Still ahead, it is a true story of bags to riches. See how this couple with a dream built their leather empire next. A Texas couple is enjoying great success in their leather bag making business. They've gone from selling bags on eBay to major production facilities in Mexico and Fort Worth. But Dave and Suzette Munson aren't just counting dollars. They are changing lives by showing their employees the love of Christ. I traveled to Mexico to uncover their untold story behind Saddleback Leather.
That's the hum of Saddleback Leather workers handcrafting the highest quality leather bags. The company's slogan promises they'll fight over it when you're dead.
My idea was after the funeral, after my funeral, that people would be like, I get it. No, I get it. No, I get it.
With that company motto, it's not a complete surprise the CEO has a leather coffin in his Texas office.
I wanted something that lasts forever. I figure if God were to have a leather bag business, then he would make them high quality leather bags.
For the full story behind Saddleback, we traveled to León, Guanajuato, Mexico. It's home to nearly 2 million people and only about 8,000 are Christians. Mexico is also where Dave Munson saw his very first bag created. It's a home away from home for him, his wife Suzette, and their children.
So I was a missionary teaching English down in here in Mexico, and I had this idea of this bag I wanted in my head. I thought like Indiana Jones would carry, something like that. So I started looking around for it, couldn't find it. But I found a guy making bags. And so I sketched it out for him. I said, hey, can you make this for me? No zippers, nothing breakable. I just want this chunk of leather. So he did. And I got this bag, and everywhere I went, when I got back from a year of teaching English, everywhere I went, people were asking me, where can I get a bag like that? And people tapped me on the shoulder and coming out of their offices and crossing the street, where can I find a bag like this? So I moved back down to Mexico for just a little bit to get some more bags made, brought them back up, sold them out of the back of my old Land Cruiser. And I had my dog sitting on the tailgate, my old black lab blue, and I hung them on the rack and had a sign in the window that said, real cool leather bags for sale.
What began with just one bag now includes all of this. This is Old Mexico Manufacturing, the company that produces Saddleback leather and employs more than 200 people. But this is not your ordinary factory.
With 8 years on the job, this designer says meeting and working with the Munsons changed her life.
They knew me when I got here, and the person that was there and the person that I am today, it's quite different. Maybe I have more peace, perhaps.
Is your faith stronger?
Yes, for sure.
This began with your vision for a bag and having someone create it. So does it still pretty much work that way? You come in here with a vision and these people make it happen?
Yeah, I'll sketch it out.
Dave also has a vision to help his employees, paying them a competitive wage, providing childcare for them on site, lunch on site as well, and allowing churches to use the cafeteria for Bible study and services.
The heart has always been for people, and I was doing full-time ministry up until right before we met. And because I wanted to reach people, I wanted to let them know about what God has done in me, and I want them to have the same thing. So it's just kind of natural.
I'm the youngest of 10, and my parents always had the down and outers in our home. I would come home and there'd be someone that I'd never seen before, and they were invited to dinner. And I grew up that way. I thought that was quite normal. But it's amazing because I feel like God has given us a large platform to be able to do it on a broader scale, and it really is incredibly fulfilling for us.
I call it my church sometimes on accident. So I feel like these are my people, and God's put me in charge there, and we really care for them.
And we walk through some really tough times with these families, and so I got to go into their homes. I visited their homes. We took some supplies and things that we knew that they were going to need during these difficult times. But so it's fresh. It's very fresh still for me because, reuniting with these families yesterday and talking to them and asking them how are things going, and one of them telling me my son is doing great and he's in the daycare now, and my wife has a job here now. Thank you so much for the prayers. And, you know, him getting emotional too and just saying things are so different and we can't thank God enough, we can't thank you guys enough. So we're involved in these people's lives. It's not just a job.
So we thought, you know what, if we really want to reach these people, we'll show them how much we love their children. So the place where I was teaching English back in the day, in 1999, I called them up and I said, hey, talked to the director, I said, if we funded it, would you start a Centro Noé here in León and for the older kids of our employees and teach them English, completely changes their life.
The school is a Munson family affair, with one of their 14 adopted sons from Rwanda working as a teacher.
Now I can surely say that God really heard our prayers.
Is this the life you envisioned for yourselves?
Absolutely not.
I think it far exceeds what we had envisioned, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, I knew when I met him that we would be doing ministry. That was a no-brainer, but certainly didn't know it was going to be to this magnitude. We did not know that.
Call it exceedingly abundantly above all the Munsons could have ever asked or imagined.
So enjoyed spending time with them. Suzette Munson has a line of bags all her own called Love 41. She uses the proceeds from that to benefit women's causes. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, the weekend is here, and if you're planning to head to the movie theater, our friends at Plugged In Online have a family-friendly review of the film Life of the Party.
In the movie Life of the Party, Deanna is a really good mom who's hit with something really bad. While dropping their daughter off for her senior year at the local college, Deanna's husband Dan announces that he wants a divorce. In fact, he says he's fallen in love with a real estate agent and they've already started the paperwork to sell off Deanna and Dan's house. Deanna is shocked. She did not see this coming at all. What will she do? Where will she live? How will she tell their daughter? But while contemplating the pain of all these things, something hits Deanna like a lightning bolt.
I don't regret staying at home and being your mom, but I regret not getting my degree.
What if she went back to school? She could complete her unfinished college degree and get a chance to see her daughter more.
That's why somebody's mom just enrolled in college. Beat.
In the face of everything that's happened, that seems to be the best of all worlds. What could possibly go wrong? Of course, a number of things do go wrong in this somewhat funny Melissa McCarthy film. The movie does have some solid things to say about parenthood and about reaching for difficult goals. However, this slapstick pick also takes the low road on a number of occasions with off-screen walk of shame sensuality and on-screen drunken partying. So I'll give Life of the Party just 2 fraternity blowouts out of 5 for family friendliness. For an in-depth review of this film or anything else at your local box office, be sure to visit us at pluggedin.com. Plugging you into the movies, I'm Bob Waliszewski for Focus on the Family's Plugged In Movie Review.
And that's a look at Life of the Party. I leave you this Friday with this Friday Faithful. It's a familiar refrain you may hear in many churches, but it is still powerful and we should consider it. God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. Allow that word to rest on your heart today and all weekend long. And in case you forgot, this weekend is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. I hope it is a special weekend for you. Remember, you can always find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. And we would love to hear what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that by emailing newswatch@cbn.com. And you can reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Make this a fabulous Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you right back here come Monday. Goodbye, everybody, and God bless.